X-Men is a series that a lot of people love because of its vast collection of characters. With such a huge list of superheroes and powers, some superheroes tend to go underrated. One such superhero is Sunspot, the mutant who is able to harness the power of the sun. In this video, we will take a deep dive into Sunspot's anatomy and try to understand how his body even manages to harbor so much power inside it. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is Roberto da Costa? How does he become Sunspot? Roberto da Costa, better known as Bobby among his peers, is the son of a very famous and powerful businessman, Emmanuel. His mother is an American archaeologist, while his father is an Afro-Brazilian businessman. Bobby was first introduced in the 4th issue of the Marvel graphic novel, and when we look into his backstory, we realize what a crucial role his parentage played in the manifestation of his powers. You see, Emmanuel was a businessman who grew from nothing. This led to Emmanuel having quite the connections. Understandably, being a powerful businessman, Emmanuel wanted to make sure Bobby was someone he could be proud of. When he noticed that Bobby showed interest and skills in football or soccer, Emmanuel pushed his son further. This parental pressure was definitely something Bobby had to keep in his mind every time he got to the field to play soccer. But things took a turn when Bobby found himself playing with racist peers. A boy named Keller decided to knock Bobby down. This happened while Bobby was representing his school in Rio de Janeiro for a championship, so it was a pretty important match. Not accepting this behavior, Bobby decided to tackle Keller. This tackle was not taken casually by Keller, so he decided to get into a fight with Bobby. In the midst of this beating, his mutant powers took over. Bobby's skin and hair turned completely black, and he hurled Keller away from him. This public manifestation of his superpowers made Bobby a target of anti-mutant supervillain Donald Pierce. Pierce kidnapped Bobby's girlfriend, Juliana, who stuck with him after the whole Rio de Janeiro incident. While trying to rescue Juliana from Pierce, Bobby met with Psyche and Karma, his two new friends. Together, they got into a brawl against Pierce, and in the midst of this chaos, Juliana gave her life to protect Bobby from a bullet. This led to Bobby deciding to join his new mutant friends he met and hunt down Pierce. On his way to hunt down Pierce, Bobby ended up meeting Cannonball, with whom he became friends pretty quickly. With new friends, Bobby ended up becoming one of the founding members of New Mutants, the one we all know him from.
Come on, give me some sun!
Why do his body parts glow like the sun? Now that we know who Bobby is, let's start diving into his powers, shall we? The first thing we notice about a powered-up Bobby is that his body glows like the sun. His teeth glow, his eyes and skin turn black, and they also glow. But why is that? When we look at our body, you and I, we see that we are made of millions of cells. These cells work for us to keep our body running. But how do they do that? The simple answer is energy. When we eat food, the food particles are absorbed by our body once they are broken down in our stomach. These absorbed food particles are metabolized to produce energy. This energy, thus produced, is what keeps us running. Bobby's cell biology is not very different from ours. His cells also produce energy due to the phosphorylation of adenosine disphosphate and turn it into adenosine triphosphate, or ATP as we know it. This ATP, in turn, gets broken down and goes back to ADP, releasing energy. But in Bobby's body, the energy source is not just foodstuff. For him, the energy source is the radiation of the sun. By absorbing the solar energy, Bobby becomes charged or powered up. Once powered up, Bobby releases the energy according to his will, allowing him to be capable of superhuman strength. Because the color itself is drained of light, Bobby's skin takes that color once he is charged up. By draining his skin of light, Bobby becomes able to absorb more power in less time. Does he have wings for flying? Now, we have seen that several superheroes have the power of flight. Sunspot is also one of them. But when it comes to Sunspot, he is able to fly without wings. Now, is his secret a can of Red Bull? It is not, sadly. When it comes to Bobby, he is able to fly using thermal updrafts. We know that hot air rises, and we also know that Bobby has the power of solar energy in him. Using the energy, he turns the air underneath him hot, allowing him to fly. On fine-tuning his ability more, Bobby is now able to hover in the air without the air underneath him getting hot, which truly shows how finely tuned his powers are now. When Bobby is not trying extremely hard, he can easily reach the speed of 150 miles per hour. This speed increases 5 times when he is overexerting himself, allowing Bobby to reach a speed of 750 miles per hour. With his ability to fly and control the speed, Bobby can easily end up in space when he uses the orbit to his advantage, allowing him to travel through space. Plus, being extremely durable, Bobby can survive in space with ease. Does he have multiple personality disorder? We have seen Bobby with several names. That has led to a lot of fans wondering if Bobby suffers from multiple personality disorders, as psychological trauma and their manifestation is quite common when it comes to superheroes. But that is not quite the case when it comes to Sunspot. When it comes to Sunspot, based on the events and his powers, he changes his name. As we know, time mishaps are a thing of the superhero universe. These usually have quite the effect on the superheroes who go through this. Sunspot went through one such situation, and he ended up becoming a villain version of himself. His name was Rhinefire. Rhinefire version of him was extremely brutal, and he was only able to get rid of this side of him with the help of Cable, who used his telepathic abilities to suppress this alter ego. In the Marvelous Universe, Mpox was a disease that ran rampant. This disease was caused due to excessive exposure to Terrigen Mist. When Sunspot came in touch with this, he ended up losing his power. When he lost his power, he decided to take the name Citizen V. This name was also used by Baron Zemo, which may have caused fans to be confused in some cases. When Sunspot was leading the team of AIM, he went by the name Scientist Supreme, so he clearly knows how to make himself sound really cool. We have to agree that his choices of names are elite. Is his body immune to heat and fire? Bobby is a pyrokinetic. A pyrokinetic is someone who is able to control fire and heat with ease. Because of his solar energy powers, Bobby is often seen using fire blasts as a defense mechanism. This power is definitely a strong move and burns his enemies to a crisp. But this move does not affect Bobby. His skin is immune to heat and fire because his cells take up the energy and change it accordingly to prevent them from hurting him. That is why Sunspot is the perfect candidate to do the whole cool guys do not look back at explosions, because Sunspot can walk through the explosions, using fire and heat to charge himself up before raining hell upon his friends. Can he exclusively absorb heat energy or other forms of energy as well? Sunspot's main power is solar radiation, yes, but this is not the only source that he can absorb energy from. Sunspot can absorb energy from wherever he wants. He can absorb energy from fire, heat, and explosion with ease, allowing himself to charge up in a moment. He can even absorb energy from a laser blast, which makes Sunspot an unstoppable force. Whatever you throw his way, he can use it to his advantage and use it against you. Reason behind his energy blasts. Energy blasts is one of the defense moves that we often see Sunspot do. But that was not something that Sunspot was always able to do. When Sunspot worked with the X-Force, he was kidnapped by a villain called Gideon. Gideon was among the scientists who decided to conduct experiments on Sunspot to understand his biology better. One of the things that Gideon did was expose Sunspot to excess amounts of solar energy. This solar energy was in excess in Sunspot's body, and due to this excessive reserve of energy, Sunspot ended up with the ability to use energy blasts and concussive force as an attack. Can he survive after the laser blast on his body? Sunspot is definitely a mutant that we do not get to see a lot, but his fan base is quite huge. How did he end up garnering such a huge fan base? When we see Sunspot, we see a mutant who can harbor the power of the sun. But that is not all. Sunspot is very much able to harness solar energy, but he is also a powerhouse as a mutant. He is pretty much unstoppable. In the whole Marvel universe, Sunspot is one of those superheroes who cannot be taken down easily. But so are a lot of superheroes, so what makes him different? You see, Sunspot is not invulnerable. We see him in several comic panels, explaining to his teammates that he is strong but not durable. That makes his character much more realistic because durability and strength do not necessarily go hand in hand. However, as we follow his journey in the comics, we realize that whatever Sunspot says has to be taken with a grain of salt because, despite his humble behavior, Sunspot can easily survive a laser ray to the face. He can take it, absorb it, and come out of it pretty much unscathed. We have also seen him come out of a bomb blast with light injuries, so his durability is not a joke. Is he the strongest mutant? Sunspot is definitely a strong mutant. His cell's ability to absorb solar radiation and turn them into energy gives him superhuman abilities. These superhuman abilities manifest as strength. This superhuman strength is something that Sunspot uses a lot when he is facing off against his enemies. At first, his ability allowed him to lift 2 tons with ease. As with time, your abilities increase. With time, Sunspot was able to lift up to 50 tons with ease. But that was not all. Sunspot ended up with more power as, at one point, he was able to beat Hulk with a single blow. Now, as we know, Sunspot was infected by Mpox at one point. That increased his strength by manifolds by augmenting his mutation. This power came into play when he became a part of the challenge between the Grandmaster and the Challenger. However, this huge amount of power was lethal for him, and after Sunspot was resurrected, we saw that this huge amount of power stabilized a lot more. Since his resurrection, Sunspot once boasted about being the strongest mutant, and in order to prove that, he retained the majestic gladiator of the Shi'ar, which is not an easy feat to achieve. Although he was unable to retain the gladiator for a long time, his temporary retention proved that Sunspot was definitely one of the stronger mutants. Does he have any love interest? Can he reproduce? When it comes to Bobby's love life, the only significant lover he has had is Juliana Sandoval. Juliana Sandoval is his high school sweetheart. They were dating when Bobby's powers first manifested during the championship match that was held at Rio de Janeiro. This manifestation of his powers on the football field led to quite a commotion and people ran away from him. While everybody ran, Juliana was the only one who stayed by his side. Because she stayed by his side, she became the target of the Hellfire Club. This club, led by Donald Pierce, was an anti-mutant club, and they kidnapped Juliana to get to Bobby. But Bobby obviously went to save her, but because his powers were not stabilized yet, he ran out of his powers while facing off against the mercenaries. 2 of his new mutant friends, Psyche and Karma, came to his aid, and while they were trying to get out of it together, one mercenary almost shot Bobby. But Juliana reacted quickly and came in front of the bullet and saved Bobby. This guilt of Juliana's death was something Bobby carried with him all his life, and that is what pushed him to become the Sunspot we all know and love. As they were mere teenagers, they were in a relationship. When they were in a relationship, they did not have a child together. But there has been no mention of Sunspot's inability to have kids, so we can assume that there might be a future timeline where Sunspot may get to have a family with his beloved. He can speak alternate timeline languages. Sunspot is from Brazil, so Portuguese is one of the languages that he is extremely fluent in. In some of the comics, we even see Sunspot speak Spanish, and of course, Sunspot knows how to speak English. This makes him trilingual. While that is impressive, what is more impressive is that Sunspot can speak Askani. Askani is a language that is spoken on Earth from a different timeline. He learned this when Cable was trying to heal him after Sunspot became Rhinefire. During this healing, Cable had to go inside Sunspot and suppress his alter ego. Because of this intrusion, Cable ended up leaving some of his knowledge within Sunspot himself. This is how Sunspot ended up being the multilingual king we stan. Is he immortal? Despite being a powerhouse, Sunspot is not lucky enough to be immortal. In the first issue of the Sins of Sinister series, we see the death of Sunspot. In this arc, Mr. Sinister creates a separate world where everything is under his control. Almost playing a godlike role in this world, Sinister uses this to his advantage. He makes heroes clash against one another. He infects humans who are sure something is wrong, and overall it is chaos. Amidst the chaos, only Storm is able to protect herself. She has to see her friends fall victim to Sinister's plan, one by one, and one of the fallen is Sunspot. He is not taken over by Sinister. He is destroyed, just like Wanda. There was only one issue out, and fans are eagerly waiting for the next 2 parts of this 3-part series to see how our favorite heroes end up. Marvelous verdict. Sunspot is one of the coolest mutants present in the X-Men universe. He is a fan favorite, and understandably so. With his ability to harness solar energy and turn it into his strength, Sunspot is able to beat his enemies with ease. Fans are excited to see the strongest mutant ever in action again, and we can't say we feel any different. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone!